In this lesson, you are going to learn what a Linux distribution is, what are the most common Linux distributions are, and how to choose the right one for you. As discussed in previous videos, Linux is an operating system and it is a collection of software that manages the hardware resources. And it also provides the environment where applications can run. The operating system allows applications to store information, send documents to printers, and interact with the users. For example, a Linux distribution is simply a collection of software and applications bundled together and distributed as a single operating system. One Linux distribution might come up with one particular web browser, and while other Linux distribution will come up with different web browser default by installed by default. But you will be able to browse the web on either the distributions, but the specific piece of software used to do that might be different. And it is also important to point out that the software that come installed by default can be changed. If you don't like the web browser, then you can shift with the Linux distribution you are using. You can install other and use. Distro is a short form of the distribution, and some other people may also refers it as a flavors. Cool. Every Linux distribution has a common that is Linux kernel. Linux kernel is the core or heart of the operating system, and this Linux kernel is the intermediary between the software and the hardware resources. Linux kernel is a useful operating system. You need other components in addition to the Linux kernel to create a one distribution, Linux distribution. Distribution is nothing but improvements to the Linux operating system. Here, components are nothing but including libraries, graphical user interfaces, email utilities, web browsers, and other programs. Here are the two most popular Linux distributions are used in the information technology departments and also used by Linux professionals that are Red Hat Enterprise Linux and Ubuntu. So, if you plan to use Linux in your current or future career as a Linux administrator or as a Linux system engineer or even a database administrator or software developer, then I highly recommend focusing on these two Linux distributions. Cool. If you want to work for large traditional organizations like financial institutions, transportation companies, telecommunication corporations, large retailers, healthcare organizations, or governmental agencies, then you should choose a Red Hat. Up until recently, you need to pay for your license in Red Hat. Before it was not. If you want to experience the Red Hat, you can use the derivatives of this Red Hat. Those are Alma Linux and Rocky Linux. These two are completely free, and these two most popular Red Hat Enterprise Linux derivatives. The basically here logos are different, but it will acts like a Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Now, if you want to work for a small startup or a more web-based companies like a software as a service type business, social networks, small commerce stores or companies that rely on cloud computing, then Ubuntu distribution is the best for you. If you are using strictly for fun or for personal projects or just want to see what other distributions have to offer, feel free to try some other popular Linux distributions such as Linux Mint, Manjaro, Pop OS, Fedora, Debian, OpenSUSE, Arch Linux, or Slackware. Cool. Ultimately, Linux is Linux at the core. No matter which choice you make, the Linux concepts are going to be same. Each distribution is going to be a little different, but if you can do something on one distribution, you'll most likely able to figure it out how to do it on others also. And so what's this really means that you can't make a wrong decisions. Cool. Let's make a recap what we have learned till now. As I mentioned, Linux distribution is the Linux kernel and collection of software that together creates an operating system. These two, RHEL and Red Hat Enterprise Linux and Ubuntu, these two are most popular distributions are used in industries. If you want to experience an Red Hat Enterprise Linux without paying any license, then you can choose an option of Alma Linux and Rocky Linux. Thank you.